So this is probably going to be the last video in this series before Christmas, but it is, I think, a really appropriate topic that we get to talk about today in the lead up to Christmas. In the last video, if you cast your mind back, you'll remember that we started to think about, well, what are the characteristics of Jesus that we might want to bring to mind, that we might want to meditate upon as we seek to fix our eyes upon him. And we named a number of things in that video. But of course, we don't just think about Christ in isolation. We don't just think about him on his own. Ultimately, Jesus is for us the mediator. He is the one who comes to mediate relationship between God and humanity. He is the one who stands in the gap between God and people. So we always know Christ in relationship. In relationship first and foremost with the Father. But then secondly, with us, with humanity. And that's what I want us to just think about today. First of all, Jesus is related to the Father. Let's think about that. You see, Jesus is the one who is the most nearly related to the Father. There is no one who is closer to the Father than Jesus. He is the only begotten Son of God, and he bears his image, the image of his Father, most perfectly. He is the brightness of his Father's glory and the express image of his person, as it says in Hebrews chapter 1. Although they are distinct persons, in other words, the Father is not the Son and the Son is not the Father. Although they are distinct and we can distinguish between them, Christ reveals to us his Father perfectly and makes his Father known. Jesus is the one who sits in the closest relationship with the Father, a closeness and intimacy of relationship is enjoyed by him that he invites us into, for us to enjoy as well. Secondly, and connectedly, Christ is the one who is the most dearly beloved by the Father, as it says in 2 Peter chapter 1. Theirs is a union of perfect love and intimacy. Just think about the honour and the glory from God the Father that Jesus Christ received when the voice came out of heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." And as Thomas Vincent writes, he then that is worthy of the Father's love surely is worthy of yours. He that is chiefly beloved by the Father should chiefly be beloved by you. So Christ then sits in perfect relationship to the Father, but he also sits in perfect relationship to us. So then what is Christ? Who is Christ to us? Well, here I'm simply going to call upon the words from Thomas Vincent here, and in this beautiful passage, I think, Vincent describes 9 ways in which Jesus relates to us. He uses 9 terms to describe this relationship, and I think, well, any one of these we could worthily meditate upon as we seek to fix our eyes on Jesus. This is what he says. Christ is your shepherd. He feeds you in green pastures. He has laid his life down for his sheep. And will you not love such a shepherd? He is your captain, who has conquered all your enemies for you and leads you on to take the spoils. And will you not love such a leader? He is your prophet, who teaches you the most excellent things that were ever taught, the highest mysteries, the most glorious truths, which are of the greatest concernment to know and believe. He teaches you in the most excellent way by his word and spirit, opening your understandings as well as his truth, giving you light and an eye to discern this light. And will you not love such a teacher? He is your high priest, who has made satisfaction for you, and withal makes intercession for you to reconcile you unto God. And his intercession is incessant and prevalent. And will you not love such an advocate? He is your king, who rules you most powerfully and righteously, most wisely and graciously. And will you not love such a sovereign? He is your benefactor, the most kind and bountiful, and no gifts are comparable unto his gifts. And will you not love such a friend? He is your brother, and if he be not ashamed to own you for his brethren and sisters, will it not be a shame if you should withhold from him your hearts? He is your husband, and you are joined to him by the Spirit and faith in such bonds as cannot be broken. And will you not embrace him in the arms of your dearest love? Lastly, he is your Redeemer, who rescued and delivered you from sin and Satan, from death and wrath. He has redeemed you by price, the price of his blood. And has he not then given the greatest price for your love? He has redeemed you also by conquest, and shall he not make a conquest of your hearts? Each of those things there, each of those statements about who Christ is, and as you go through that list, as he moves through that list, Thomas Vincent helps us to realise the intimacy of Christ's work, moving there from being our king, captain, to the intimacy of the brother and the husband. Maybe there are other words that we could add as well when we think about who Christ is and all that he has done for us. But here's the point: Jesus works in relationship to bring relationship. Always he is at work joining us together. As it says in Colossians 1:17, he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Jesus is the one who holds all things together and brings peace between them. So let me invite you, particularly this week as we come up to Christmas and we think about the coming of this one who is our mediator, to contemplate how Christ does this work of relationship. Take some of these words that we've been given here: brother, king, husband, redeemer. Some of these things to name the work of Christ and his relation with us, and meditate on how perfectly he relates to you and leads you into relationship with, into union with, into intimacy with his Father.